Pow, pow, pow. I am back. BAC with a whatever. I'm back from holiday mode. As you can see, I'm still clearly in holiday mode. And here's to all of you. Vino Verde. Kind of still in holiday mode, but this is the first show after 2 weeks of 100% not doing too much. And then this week trying to be catching up and making a lot of plans. And that's what I want to share with you guys on this show. Just what is in the pipeline. And yep, let's get started. Let me stop babbling and let's get into it. So first of all, I started out with MSG on Monday show on a Tuesday, one day before the incredible True North guys started their show. But when new opportunities that I found very interesting started, I very much thought it was necessary and important to look into those investment opportunities, and also shared that with you guys. I did a bunch of different shows, Meta Planet Roundtable, Smarter Webley Wednesdays, did a show on H100, one on Coin, one on ALTBG, the blockchain group, which is now actually Capital B. Looking forward to having Alexandra back there on those developments. But because I'm doing all these bunch of shows, instead of having 7 different shows that I'm counting up from one, I'm accumulating everything that has to do with Bitcoin accumulating companies into the brand Bitcoin Treasuries world. So therefore, this one is number 40. This is actually show number 40 since I started late October last year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the sub brands because people like it. I like it. MicroStrategy Mondays, which is now MSG on Mondays after their name change, Meta Planet Roundtable, Smarter Webley Wednesdays. Those are all going to continue, but I'm just going to count it all or name it all Bitcoin Treasuries World, and then the sub brand, whatever. So I went back, renumbered all of them, counting up now, and this is episode 40. That's first off. Number 2. So what I'm really excited about, and something I've had on my mind for quite a while, is a new show. So I'm consolidating shows, but there'll be everything to do with Bitcoin treasury companies, Bitcoin accumulating companies will be under that one brand, Bitcoin accumulating, Bitcoin Treasuries World. But one show that I've been thinking of for quite a while now, it's all up here in my head, and I will launch that soon, is going to be the overview. Because one thing is looking at Meta Planet, looking at MSTR, looking at SWC, H100, etc. What are they up to? But I find it extremely important as an investor and to share with my audience, who's also mostly invested in this space, in the Bitcoin accumulating companies, to look at how they compare to each other. Why do I choose to invest in SWC while I don't have anything in this other company? And why is MSTR actually right now my biggest allocation, followed by Meta Planet? The answer to that specifically is because Meta Planet fell, dropped a bit in value. Otherwise, it was actually the other way around before. So that's a show that I'm super excited about launching soon, creating that overview to compare, which I believe will give you guys and myself more value than individual looking at the companies, which I will continue to do. And that is, I also pitched that to the guys in Helsinki, where the first ever Bitcoin conference in Helsinki, in the Nordics, will be. So I'll be doing a keynote on that up in Helsinki, more on that soon, later in this show. So I'll both be talking about it up there. It's going to be a show ongoing here, which I find I believe is going to be the most interesting. Also, so I am Danish, as all of you know. Just going to pluck this computer into a little bit of juice as we're live streaming. I am Danish. I always made my content in English. I lived in English-speaking countries the last 20 years or so. And I always thought, well, Danes speak English, so they should just pick up English content. There's so much great Bitcoin content in English, but started to interact with the Danish Bitcoin community much more as of this year. Lots of good people there, of course, like in all Bitcoin communities. And I'm realizing, I'm hearing it from everyone, including family members, if they want to consume some content and be very comfortable, they want it in Danish. They want it in their local language. So having met some good people like Kevin, John, and many more, I'm going to start a new show called Bitcoin in Danish. And I'm writing that in English, so you guys know it's in Danish and you don't want to see it because we'll all be speaking Danish. But that show I'm going to launch at 3 p.m. on Tuesday next week, called Bitcoin in Danish. And we'll be talking about Bitcoin and in Danish, and really just trying to communicate to the Danish population the basics of Bitcoin and build it up from there. Really trying to orange pill the 6 million people Danish population, one person at a time. All right, what else? I'm going to continue the Christian content that I'm doing occasionally on Sundays, where I want to reach the 2.3 billion Christians and make them understand that as a Christian, you really should not be saving or even using too much the US dollar, the euro, etc. They are very against scripture. If you want to be aligned with your belief, with your God, Bitcoin is 100% aligned with Christianity. And that's what I'm trying to get through to Christians. Life is good, God is good, and Jesus loves you. So the way I'm going to do that, I guess, is I'm going to create 3 different channels. One for Bitcoin Treasuries world, everything to do with Bitcoin accumulating companies. 2 Christians walk into a bar for the Bitcoin content for Christian people, and Bitcoin in Danish, which will be the Danish speaking content. That's what I'm learning. I should do playlist. I think it's called playlist. All right, what else? Let's go have a look at, very excited about this conference that is coming up. So the first ever international, like beyond meetup, like actual conference about Bitcoin in the Nordics is going to take place in Helsinki next month. And I will say what blew me away when I first heard about it was the speakers, right? So, Nordics is the Nordics. We're small, and I thought, okay, we'll start small and build up. I'm a huge fan of Jeff Booth, who is I would say, a friend of mine, really just amazing person and so knowledgeable. He's going to be there. That's amazing. Haven't seen him in a while. Adam Back is going to be there, the only guy quoted in the white paper, and the biggest investor in the Bitcoin accumulating companies space. So, I mean, those 2 straight off the bat, and obviously that is when I'm not mentioning Marty and Mikko, it's just simply because I'm not a programmer. I'm not into that part of the more techie part of Bitcoin. Obviously, these guys are G's. They're up there in the first line. But of the people that I do know, and that's no disrespect to the ones I don't know, Luke Dash Jr., one of the most important people in Bitcoin development. He played the biggest part in keeping people calm in the summer of 2017 when Bitcoin was attacked by B-Trash, aka Bitcoin Cash. But B-Trash, and he really calmed people, and he was just great back then. Peter Todd, I know he's part of the controversy, but I'm so far removed from that conversation. I don't even know exactly what his point is. But Daniel Prince, good friend of mine, Joe Nakamoto, he and I have both been emceeing at BTC Prague for the first 3 years. Giacomo Succo, just one of the best people, kindest, smartest people in Bitcoin that I've ever met. Him and he's, but just look at this lineup. And his wife, where is she? Where is she's here? Mir. They actually came to my Bitcoin meetup very early on in 2017 in Los Angeles, and gave a speech. But just, I mean, you can see the lineup. There's so many names that I scroll past here. I don't know half of them, but it's just a wealth of knowledge. So, oh, shout out to Jake Inatu. He's a very active pillar of the Danish Bitcoin community. We've met in Prague a couple of times. Amazing dude. Can't wait to hang out with him a bit more up in Helsinki. And Chris is really tall, and he makes fun of me when we walk past each other. It gives me a high five in about the height of 3 meters that I can't reach. Well, I did, but it was close. He almost got me. Anyways, just amazing lineup here of speakers. And this is all happening. It's happening August 15 to 16. You can see the tickets. There's different tickets. As always, there's VIP tickets, there's 2-day tickets, a Friday ticket, and a Saturday ticket. That's new. That's pretty cool. And you got the prices. Anyhow, and let me just, if I remove that just quickly and go to hang on here, that caption there. So BTC Helsinki, August 15 to 16. I'm very excited to go there and do a keynote on Bitcoin accumulating companies. It's going to be the first ever Bitcoin conference in the Nordics. Exciting to be part of that. And the website is btchel.com. And if you use the code Anders, it should give you a 10% discount. So there you have it. All right. I am going to move on to, where was I on my long list of things I wanted to share here coming out of holiday mode. I'm honestly still, it's a little bit of a holiday mode with the Vino Verde. It's quite soft though, but delish. Where do we go? Fives. Okay. Also, so I haven't done this in a while, but if we talk kind of actual Bitcoin targets, then I'm going to share with you I'm going to share with you my TradingView page, where I'm following, like everyone else, the price of Bitcoin. And this is not technical analysis. Don't bash me for being a TA guy or something. Not that I care. Who cares, right? Anyway, but I've been very focused on the 4-year halving cycle, which have been played out. Until this day, it's intact. So I respect it, and it's yet to see. We are yet to see in Q4 and next year if it's going to continue as a 4-year cycle, or if things are actually different this time. But based on me being into Bitcoin, studying Bitcoin since 17, looking at the 17 blow off top, thinking we're going to go to heaven. We didn't. We went. And then again in 21, thinking we're going to 300,000, we didn't. And then we went down in 22. That 4-year cycle has been intact. So I want to just share with you that after looking at all of that and learning from my mistakes in these past 8 years, then before it was around end of February, early March, I believe, I drew this three lines based on my experience and analysis of, let me make some conservative targets that I'm very comfortable Bitcoin will hit. So the blue line is 2023, the yellow line 2024, and the green line 2025. So to give you just take you through my train of thought, I started it back from the beginning of the year, 1st of January. And here sometime in Q1, I said, I feel very comfortable that we're going to reach 40,000 by the end of the year. We started the year at about 16 and a half. And we did end up above that. We were up at 43 was the top in December. And still all the way back in Q1 23, I drew all these three lines, a different color for each year. It's not TA, it's just me thinking, we might actually, what's realistic, what's conservative. And then Bitcoin continued into 24 with this line. And my target for the end of 24 was 80,000. And also we made that. We went above. We had a high at about 108,000 or so last year post election in US. And then the green line here is for 25. And what I have made the target for this is $200,000 in this year that will reach that. Now, why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing it up because a lot of us on X and everywhere else tend to think that, well, we only at 100 and whatever, we are now 15 or whatever. So 200 is totally out of reason. That's impossible. But that's why I kind of want to zoom out and give you, just my own little graph here, because we have constantly gone above it and below it and above it and below it and above it. And now we're below it. And yes, so right now it doesn't feel like 200, but if you're looking at the history here, it's not unrealistic that, especially because these bull runs tend to get steeper and steeper to the upside. Granted, we haven't seen anything really steep yet. It's been quite boring. Nevertheless, here we are. We're not that far, to be on target for that, we would need to be around 134,000. So I just think that it's not out of the realms of possibilities. So let me just see if there's anything there in the chat. No, there's not. Yeah, that's what happens, I think, in the algo when you've been enjoying summer. I'm in Denmark and enjoying the Danish summer. It's wonderful here, and it's been almost 3 weeks since I did a show, but I did knock out 12 live shows in 2 weeks before I went to a summer house. Yet here we are. And okay, where did I get to? Boom, boom, boom. That was my BTC targets. So with that, I just wanted to say that I definitely think that 200,000 is still absolutely within the realm of possibilities. And if, as traditional, it gets a little bit steeper, except that didn't happen big time, and it didn't really happen in 21. That was very disappointing. But we were also going into quantitative tightening, where now we're going into quantitative easing. So that's why I wanted to share that. Now, so coming up off shows, because this is just like I'm back, just saying a little bit high level, that the events or conferences that I'm going to be participating in and the discounts codes I'm sharing there if you guys want to go and save some money, which I think Helsinki is going to be amazing. And I think the other one that I'll tell you about, Tim Kotzman, his Bitcoin Treasuries New York City Unconference September 17. I think that's going to be off the hook, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But also, I'm going to do a show with the Liquid, a CEO. So this is currently the BAC in Canada that owns the most Bitcoin. They have 239 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. I'm going to have an interview with their CEO, which is going to be 8 p.m. Central European time. That will be 2 p.m. Eastern time. This is Monday, by the way, or 11 a.m. PST. So that's on Monday. The CEO, Stone, from the company Liquid in Canada, that currently has the leader position. Then on Tuesday, one of my favorite shows, the much beloved Meta Planet Roundtable. Climb is going to be there. Brian's going to be there. Blake's going to be there. Christina, sadly, probably will not be able to make it. Ragnar might make an appearance despite being on holiday. His Starlink internet might work from the beach, and he might jump in. No promise. He's not 100%. He didn't commit to it, but I'm trying to convince him because I've been following, obviously, like a lot of your Ragnar on X, and he's got a lot of great takes, and he's doing exactly what I like to do myself, which is try and get an overview of the best BACs to invest in and why to invest in those, and how much, the different arguments for, okay, is this going to be, a serious allocation? Is it going to be a small allocation, or is it going to be a tiny bag? To share with you where I'm at right now on those, MSTR and Meta Planet are my two biggest position. I'm very excited about that. I'm also excited about my next two positions, but in SWC, I do have a smaller position. Yet, if you look at how many Bitcoin they have compared to Meta Planet Strategy, I actually have a bigger part. Like it's a bigger part of the company, although it's like 1 to a million or something. But just I'm invested in it, but it's a much smaller position. And then in H100, which is Swedish, run by a Norwegian CEO, Sander Anderson, who was on my channel a couple of weeks back. He is Norwegian, so that's a little Scandinavian thing there, H100, and that's what I call my tiny bag, because it's literally a tiny bag and just experimental. And but I do see some good things. That's why I'm dipping my toes, and that's really all it is. All right, second last thing I want to touch on, and again, just want to say, so that BTC Helsinki, if it does sound interesting to you, I can tell you it sounds interesting to me as well. I'm very excited to go and talk as a keynote on a smaller stage, but a keynote about Bitcoin accumulating companies. And I hope a lot of you come out, and so we can help convince the organizers that next year we should be talking about Bitcoin accumulating companies on main stage. By the way, I will be on main stage with Sander Anderson and a guy called Christopher, speaking about, it's going to be a fireside chat panel about institutional and corporate adoption of Bitcoin. So very excited for that. I may drop the hat and wear a shirt. I'm not sure. I'm contemplating the whole suit coiner thing, but my way to go, it might be a t-shirt and a scarf, not a scarf, tie. Anyways, second last thing, to actually talk about what's probably on the mind of many people who've invested in BACs right now, Bitcoin accumulating companies. So there's a major pullback, right? Meta Planet, their MNAV has dropped to just below 2. SWC in England, their MNAV has dropped to about 3.5. So, and I'm guessing that some of you, including myself, are thinking, well, if this was to continue, if it is currently their only or by far main way of generating a yield to sell stock into the premium so that they can outsize the purchases of Bitcoin, so that each share has more Bitcoin behind it every time they sell stock with a premium compared to the Bitcoin it holds, and then purchase Bitcoin with that. So My thinking is there. If we take an example like Smarter Web company, who now hold 1,800 Bitcoin, which is a lot, but it's nothing compared to it's looking like the clear winner in UK, England. It's a big market. The biggest BAC in UK is gonna have way more than that. So even if the engine stalled, which would be like AMNAV going below 2, like significantly below 2, and it's at more than 3.5. Even if that happened, I think that would just bring forward the selling of preferred stock a lot faster. And people saying that, oh, but preferred doesn't make sense until you have 20,000 Bitcoin. Absolutely disagree. It's all relative. It's about how many Bitcoin you have. And sure, if you have 2,000 Bitcoin, you don't have as much collateral as a company that has 20,000 or 600,000 Bitcoin to sell as a security or collateral on the balance sheet against new stock. But it's all relative. So you only need to sell less preferreds to make a difference anyway. Like, come on, lighten up, be a little bit optimistic and positive and think clearly, I would say. So for that reason, I see the current pullback to just touch upon that as an opportunity, as a buying opportunity. And I don't know where the bottom is. Probably it's in already, but who knows? Maybe we got to go further down. I have zero panic. I see this as a temptation to throw more at it. And on that note, I do want to just say, let's see here what NDJ says. So this is about H100. It is Swedish, run by a Norwegian, and propped up by Danish investors. Yes, I will say that I know Swedish investing culture is much more advanced than Denmark. And in Denmark, investors, they look with envy to Sweden, going, it's amazing how everyone in Sweden buys stocks. They're very advanced with the percentage of people buying stock, which I think is amazing. But yeah, there you have it. NDJ, thank you for that. All right. So basically, I'm not worried about the pullback. If you want to be worried, go ahead and be worried. If you want to sell cheap with a loss compared to what you purchased it at, go ahead. But you're probably going to regret it. I think not financial advice. That is compassionate advice, and none of what I do here on YouTube or X, whatever, is financial advice. It's at best financial entertainment, perhaps a little bit of education and information. However, if you do like the financial entertainment, then feel free, of course, to like and subscribe and hit the bell button if you're in YouTube. Share with a friend if you feel like it. And I need to just speak all the time. That's when you don't have guests. You talk a lot. You don't get a chance to hydrate. I mean, you know what I mean. Totally holiday mode here. My bad, and not my bad. I mean, it's all good. Okay. Very excitingly, also. So this conversation took place past midnight when I kind of was sleeping. Tim Kotzman, a friend of mine in this space, I would say one of the guys that is doing most similar to what I'm doing, which is just to cover the Bitcoin accumulating companies, the Bitcoin treasury companies. He is throwing I think a really cool, I think it's going to be very fun to participate in, and very very useful and learning wise to participate in an Unconference on Bitcoin treasuries in New York. And he's doing that. Let me just find the screen there, at least so I can see it myself. That's September 17. It's Wednesday in New York City on Manhattan. Let me bring that out here. So there you have it. The Bitcoin Treasuries Unconference, Wednesday, September 17th. Now I know, so he's been selling a bunch of tickets, and as time goes past, the price of tickets goes up. Whoa. So I saw these ones, general admission by August 8th. I saw them earlier today. They seem to be now sold out. I'm not trying to create FOMO, but I think it's going to be pretty awesome. So these are the next one. General admission by August 15th. They're $1,500. And what I wanted, there's VIP tickets as well, of course. And then I wanted to find the thing that said, because something is happening. There you go. Treasury tap room. So September 16th, there's a VIP reception. That's the night before. I'll be at all of it. Can't wait. Don't want to miss a party. But just to take it back up here. So Tim attended Fred Krueger's event in Santa Monica last year, where I threw a Bitcoin pleb party in the evening, and Tim came around. That was the first time I met Tim. I met Raekwon. I met Punter Jeff. They came to my party, which was a good time. It was a lot of fun. And so what I understand from Bitcoin First, I didn't go there because first of all, it was expensive, and second of all, it was during the Bitcoin Street Festival, which was the first ever time there was a Bitcoin Street Festival, and I thought put together by my good friend my captain, the fire captain in Santa Monica, and I wanted to attend that. However, what I learned was the format at which Bitcoin First was held was where it's very much they continue to break out in rooms or in groups, and then people participate. So it's not a set conference with set presentation, et cetera. You very much get to, I guess, participate. So this will be the first for me and Tim. Thankfully, I'm grateful. Asked me to participate as one of the co-hosts. I mean, this happened past midnight, but I believe I'll be like co-hosting, some of these rooms throughout the day, and that's what I love the most, is having these conversations and talking with people, answering the questions, and directing, in a room full of people that have an interest in Bitcoin treasury companies. There will be people with so much knowledge, specialized knowledge, that, lawyers or finance people, quants, etc. So I think it's going to be, if it's something that you're investing in, I think it's going to be just amazing. And so this is new to me. It's less than 24 hours. I'll get Tim on the show here as well, and have him explain more. But you might want to get your ticket if this is something you're considering before they continue to go up. I'm not saying it's cheap, $1,500 now, but they keep selling out. If you're making money in this space, maybe it's something you want to do. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm going. That's all I can say. So that's September 17th. In New York City. It's called the Bitcoin Treasuries NYC Unconference. It's by Tim Kotzman. And if you use the code Anders10, you get 10% off. And so you can see the URL there. It's a tricky URL, but I think that's because that's where it's set up, where you buy the tickets, anyhow. So it is what it is. All right, there's a bunch more chats coming in. So I covered everything now. Now I'm happy to just look at the chat and see what we've got. So NDJ further says Saylor has said that with preferred, it's a 10-to-1 game. So for every billion you have in BTC dollar, you can raise 100 million of preferred. That makes total sense because you can, if you raise $100 million backed by a billion, it means that even the critical conservative investors of fixed income on Wall Street, TradFi, will be comfortable knowing it's over collateralized 1 to 10. That makes great sense. And if anyone knows the preferreds in this space, it's Saylor. He's the only one doing them yet. We're waiting for MetaPlanet to get started. We're waiting for the other BACs to get started. And it very much seems, I mean, looking at how long time it took Saylor, and still kind of is taking Saylor to get traction on Strike, Strife, and Stride, it's a good idea, I think, for the BACs to get started. Can't wait for MetaPlanet to get started, because I guess they need to be there for a while before the market kind of respects them, realize them, and for them to get a credit rating. And the credit rating is needed to get that unlock of the massive capital trapped behind the TradFi dam. So if you want that to flow through your pipelines, the aqueducts that's being built by these dams, where they are getting a lot of profit from that trapped capital stuck in low yielding environments in fiat, then you want to get those going. So, and on that note, I will say I'm super excited. So super excited for Stretch, which is the fourth preferred launched by Saylor. Strategy just a couple of days ago, was it 2-3 days ago? And that has been more oversubscribed than any of the other preferreds. That one is very short term. So it's basically for people, it's like a money market. You park money for a month essentially by owning this stock, and then the interest rate adjusts monthly, and it's going to start out with yielding something like 10%, which beats all other short-term market money market kind of opportunities for placing your funds. Like, place it in your bank and ask for 10%, and they'll tell you to close your account. That's super interesting. Even institutions, I read today on X, are actually wait. So Tim is texting me something here just while I'm doing the show. Okay, there's a lot here. So I think I'm gonna have to read that later. But there's something about Michael Saylor. Anyway, so that'll probably be interesting. I'll cover it at a later time. But NTJ, I think you're absolutely right. Tommy D, wow, is MetaPlanet even down below 8? What a great buying opportunity, in my opinion. It's not financial advice. Still holding, yeah. You don't want to sell cheap. That's the one thing you don't want to do. That's why it's important with these type of investments that you have a bit of a time horizon, especially with the BACs. I would say you want to have a time horizon of minimum 3 years. Then I'm sure that any of the ones I have invested in will be significantly higher. But a potential 4-year cycle intact could mean a bear market next year. So that's why you want to have 3 years. So it's time for recover and time for good gains. All right, what else here? What else we got here? Yep, a great comment there also from NDJ. If I didn't hodl Bitcoin, I couldn't hodl MSTR. If I didn't hodl MSTR, I couldn't hodl MTPLF. Love it. Thank you, BTC 21 million. I am back. I'm back from holiday, although still a little bit holiday, enjoying time with family, doing fun things, but had to get back and doing this show. Probably this is super rusty and not flowing because it's been 3 weeks. But cheers in the Pinot Verde. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, So I'm not going to Fred's. I'm not going to his events, at least so far, but definitely going to New York, obviously, when Tim invites me. All right, I'm gonna try and keep it not too ridiculously long. Thank you for watching. Thank you for still caring and being around to watch a little bit of Bitcoin accumulating company content. For those who just recently joined, on Monday, 8 p.m. Central European time, that is 2 p.m. Eastern time, 11 a.m. Pacific time, I will be interviewing the CEO of Liquid in Canada, which is currently the #1 BAC Bitcoin accumulating company in Canada. On Tuesday, I'll be back with Metaplanet Roundtable with the one and only Climb, super Metaplanet analyst, as everyone watching this knows. Brian is going to be on. Blake is coming on, trying to convince Ragnar that he should hook up his Starlink satellite internet from the beach where he's at, also enjoying summer. But come on, Ragnar, join us. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'm starting Danish Bitcoin to try and help the Danish population understand Bitcoin, which is just not really the case. Further, just reminder, BTC Helsinki is August 15 to 16. It's the first ever Bitcoin conference in the Nordics. The guest, the speaker list is off the hook. Jeff Booth, Adam Back, Luke Dash Jr., Peter Todd, Daniel Prenz, Giacomo Succo, Mir. Like, the list is insane. That's going to be a lot of fun. And also the Bitcoin Treasuries NYC Unconference, September 17th, hosted by Tim Kotzman and Julian. And there, Anders 10 gets you 10% off on BTC hell.com. You just type the code Anders, you get 10% off. So there you have it. Anyways, hope some of you come out. Let's have fun. Let's talk BACs and have a good time. I will now go back to summer holiday mode, but Monday will be the first show. Tuesday, there's going to be Bitcoin in Danish, which will be 3 p.m. Copenhagen time. And then 8 p.m. Copenhagen time will be the Metaplanet Roundtable. So that will be same time as usual, which is also Metaplanet Roundtable Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern time and 11 a.m. Pacific time. And then I'm going to hit up Andrew Webley to see if he's down for a smarter Webley Wednesday on Wednesday next week. That would be awesome. And I think that's all I got. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate you all. And I hooked this live stream up to, I added my Facebook account, which I haven't used for pretty much for 6 years. There has been 0 live viewers from Facebook throughout. So that's what happens when you don't interact with people, I guess. It's all good in the hood. And I hope that you still have a great summer. More content coming here next week. Thank you for being here. And it's time for me to say cheers and see you after the weekend. Have a good one. Cheers. Bye.